Hello everybody, my name is Timothy Rebior and I'm an engineer at Mechanical Technologies Incorporated, and I'm here today to propose my idea of replacing all the current light bulbs at MTI locations with light emitting diodes. So today I will start by going over the ramifications of incandescent and compact fluorescent bulbs, which include, but are not limited to, they are fragile, they are inefficient, they have an insufficient life, they have a warm-up period, and CFLs actually contain mercury. After those ramifications, I'll go into my solution of light-emitting diodes, and then I'll discuss how much it will cost to implement this project, and then I will wrap up and I will open up the floor to any questions. Incandescent bulbs have been the standard for lighting homes since the mid-1880s, and they have not changed since. In more recent times, compact fluorescents have been becoming more popular. The only problem is both of these bulbs have ramifications that negatively affect their use. First off, both of these bulbs are fragile. Incandescent bulbs and compact fluorescent bulbs are both made of glass, and as we all know, glass is extremely fragile. Elasticity is the ability of a material to return to its shape after being stretched or compressed. The higher the elasticity rating, the more stiff the material. According to the engineering toolbox, the elasticity rating of glass is from about 50 to 90. Compare this to the elasticity rating of plastic, and we have about 1.4 to 3.1. So obviously, there is materials out there that we can use to produce bulbs that are less fragile. Another ramification of incandescent bulbs is that they are extremely inefficient. Incandescent bulbs generate light by heating up a filament until it goes white hot, and then that produces the heat. The only problem with this process is that most of the energy used to produce the light is given off as heat. According to the United States Department of Energy, approximately 90% of the energy used to produce light in an incandescent bulb is given off as heat. That means that only 10% of the energy is used to produce light. This is extremely inefficient and costs a lot of money. Another ramification of incandescent bulbs is that they have an extremely insufficient lifespan. So, as mentioned before, incandescent bulbs use filaments to produce light. The problem with filament is, like all things, they deteriorate over time. So when the filament deteriorates too much, we get that characteristic pop when you turn on the light switch to turn on the bulb. According to a writer from the New York Times, an incandescent bulb lasts approximately 1,000 to 2,000 hours. This translates into about 42 to 83 days of continuous use, or changing your light bulb 2 to 3 times every year. We can drastically improve on that to save the company a lot of money. A ramification of compact fluorescent bulbs is that they have a warm-up period. So CFLs are not like incandescent bulbs. They require a little more energy when first turned on, but when the electricity is flowing through the bulb, they use about approximately 75% less energy than incandescent bulbs. The entire process to turn on a CFL, however, can take up from 30 to up 3 minutes. This makes them impractical in use when they are used frequently, for instance in a closet, or if you want to use them outside. The cold makes the process longer, so you could be waiting longer than 3 minutes for your CFL to warm up. Finally, a ramification of CFLs are they contain mercury. So CFLs use vapor to produce their light, and one of the vapors they use is mercury, and we all know that mercury is highly toxic. According to Energy Star, there are approximately 4 milligrams of mercury in every CFL bulb. And as we know, CFLs are made of glass, so a break is potentially harmful to any of the employees around them, because mercury can cause kidney, liver, nerve damage, and in some cases it can even cause death. So I'm proposing to swap out those bulbs with LEDs. LEDs are more efficient than incandescent and compact fluorescent bulbs. On average, they're about 75 to 80% more efficient than incandescent bulbs and approximately 5% more efficient than CFL bulbs. They also last longer than both of those bulbs. They can last approximately up to 25 times longer than incandescent bulbs and approximately 2 to 4 times longer than CFLs. So this means that going from changing your light bulb every 2 to 3 times per year to 2 to 3 times every 25 years. Furthermore, LEDs are also more dependable. LEDs do not have a warm-up period, so you can use them in places where you turn the light on for a few seconds, for instance the closet, or you could use them outside. LEDs are also more durable than incandescents and compact fluorescent bulbs because they are not made of glass. Finally, LEDs do not use any toxic materials in their process to produce light. So, LEDs can replace wherever incandescent or CFL bulbs are. So for instance, we have the LED tubes, which can replace light bulbs in the factory or production area. We also have the regular bulbs that can go in the office spaces or like desk areas. So how do LEDs work? So LEDs contain a diode, which is a semiconductor, and when electricity passes through a semiconductor, it emits light. So here, the electricity enters through one of the terminal pins, passes through the diode, and exits through the other terminal pin. And when it passes through the diode, it emits light. And this process is extremely more efficient than the processes of incandescent and compact fluorescent bulbs. The projected budget of replacing all the LEDs at a single MTI location is approximately $65,500. This includes hardware costs, which includes purchasing all the necessary LEDs to replace all the current light bulbs. It includes contractor costs, which includes installations of the new bulbs, cleanup, and disposal of the old bulbs. This also includes personnel and supervisor costs. So supervisor will continuously monitor how the project's going, and the personnel costs are for the evaluation phase. In conclusion, LEDs are more efficient, they're less fragile, and they last longer than incandescent and compact fluorescent bulbs. This can directly affect the amount of money that an MTI location spends on using energy. Finally, LEDs are a lot safer than incandescent and compact fluorescent bulbs because they're not made of glass and they do not contain any toxic material in their process to produce light. I'd like to open up the floor for any questions. Thank you for your time.